No. Joining the focus now, Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, the third-ranking member of the Senate Republican leadership. He is also on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and we are glad to have him in focus today. Senator, thank you. First of all,
Harris.
What does President Biden need to say now that we have learned he's going to speak at 3:45 p.m. Eastern, 6 days since we last heard from him?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is Joe Biden's Vietnam, but it's worse. It's supersized. Not too long ago, he said that under no circumstances would we ever see helicopters rising from the roof of the embassy in Afghanistan, except that's exactly what we saw. So Joe Biden has really been a deer in the headlights. He's been asleep at the switch. It's hard to say what he is going to say today, but we do know that he ignored the advice of his national security advisor on this. We know he ignored the advice of military advisors on this. So whether you believe that we should have been in Afghanistan or not, I think you have to agree that what has been done with the execution of this has been disastrous. And as a result, and you're showing the video of the people on the tarmac, people trying to get out of the country, there are people all around Afghanistan who are going to be found and punished and executed. There's going to be blood on the hands of Joe Biden. What's happening now in Afghanistan is heartbreaking.
Senator Barrasso, this is also complicated, too, because as you just pointed out, and I hadn't really thought about it till you said this, those aren't necessarily all the people who have helped us throughout the war. This is everybody who wants to get out of the grasp of the Taliban. How will we be able to tell the difference? We can't take them all.
Well, you're absolutely right. And when you take a look at this, and I've been to Afghanistan about 10 times over the last number of years, working with the Afghan army, working with our soldiers. I was most recently there with President Trump, Thanksgiving of 2019, to thank our troops. Look, when President Biden came into office, there were 2,500 troops in Afghanistan. He's now sent 6,000 in. And you talk about people trying to get out. I was on a call yesterday with the Secretary of State. He said they're trying to remove 60,000. Some of them are Americans. Others are just people that have helped us over the years. There is no way they're going to be able to do this. What is happening now has been predictable. It is preventable. It is because of the policy mistakes made by Joe Biden as president. This was his first real test as commander-in-chief, and what he is showing the world is incompetence and ineptness on his part.
Well, actually, it's about the fifth, right? I mean, look at the border situation. Look at the economy with runaway inflation right now. I mean, that president has a lot going on in terms of the word crisis. This is the one in focus today, and it is heartbreaking to see the reality play out on screen as you have just told us and narrated us through what's happening. Just real quickly before we hear from Senator Blackburn, because I want to get your response to something. About what President Trump was planning to do. It's being widely reported that this president deviated. Do we have any idea? Will the Senate be able to find out how exactly did they deviate from that plan, and how did that get us to where we are now?
Well, it is, and you make the interesting point that President Biden has tried to reverse so many things that President Trump has done successfully in terms of the economy, in terms of the border, and in terms of keeping the homeland safe. The reason we were in Afghanistan in the first place is because of 9/11. Here we are coming up on the 20th anniversary of that. General Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, yesterday told a group of senators that the terrorist activity is going to be increased faster and more ferociously than he had anticipated. So this is a failure of the Biden administration. Enemies around the world are celebrating this. This is a slap in the face of every man in uniform who has worn the uniform, been part of the battle, the sacrifices and the services that they've made. And now, coming up on the 20th anniversary of 9/11, what we're going to see is the Taliban and the terrorists once again back in charge in Afghanistan.
I want to get to this now. Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee on Sunday Morning Futures yesterday said this could have been avoided with a conditional-based withdrawal. Watch.
Could have been avoided. The exit from Afghanistan should have been conditions-based. It should have been based on these threat assessments. We know that President Biden chose not to do it that way. He wanted to set a timeline, and as the Afghanis and the Taliban, as the Taliban has said all along, you may have the clocks, we've got the time.
Senator Barrasso, your final comments on this today.
Well, Senator Blackburn is absolutely right. If you make decisions based on the calendar on the wall versus the conditions on the ground, you're doomed to disaster. And that's what Joe Biden has done for America today.
Senator John Barrasso, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Harris.